Hello, my name is Jonathan Harris from Worldwide Camera Exchange. Leica R8 and Leica R9 cameras. These were the last two film-based SLR cameras that Leica made. Very different from the previous cameras. This is an R7, which was the last of the traditionally designed Leica SLRs. You'll see this is very, very different in design indeed. This wasn't an incremental design change. This was a design rethink. Leica completely rethought this camera when they designed it, when they introduced it. And if you pick up the camera and handle it, you'll almost immediately see why. Okay, it's a bit ugly. You know, some people don't think it's the prettiest camera in the world. Available in black and in chrome and in the R9 version, some other finishes too. It handles very, very well in the hand. If you have very, very small hands, you might find it a bit big, but it sits in the hands very, very nicely. And the viewfinder, just look into the camera and you'll see the viewfinder is sensational. I think personally, this is probably the best viewfinder from any camera of this era. As I said, introduced in 1996, the R8. The R9 was introduced in about 2001, 2002, just as the digital revolution really started to take hold. So you won't see many R9s around. There are a few more R8s, but they're still relatively hard to get hold of. But if you're looking for a decent Leica camera to use the absolutely unsurpassed Leica SLR lenses, this is certainly one of the cameras worth looking at. Just a quick bit of history. Leica introduced its first SLR, I think in 1963-ish with the Leica Flex. That was a fully mechanical SLR, very nice camera. They then introduced the R3, which was designed with Minolta. R3, not good, not particularly reliable. They then moved on to the R4. Reliability again, a little bit iffy, but they got better. By the time you move through to the R5s and the R7s, which was the last of the traditional design, as I said, reliability a lot better. They also produced the mechanical R6 and the mechanical R6 II, which are very, very good cameras indeed. But going back to the R8, I'm not going to dwell a lot on the differences between the R8 and the R9. You can Google that. There are a few differences, but nothing significant. It's an electronic shutter. Shooting modes, everything you'd expect from a camera of this era, some manual, aperture priority, program shift, shutter priority. Controls, looking at the top first of all. Winds on crank there. There is a winder for it, which is quite neat, and a motor drive, which is fairly heavy. I think the camera works best just in its purest form as we've got it here. So manual wind there. Multiple exposure switch there. Obviously shutter speed dial, shutter release button, metering, spot, average, and center weighted. On this side, clearly you have the film rewind and the on-off switch and the exposure mode control, and hot shoe in the middle there. Looking at the front, we have the depth of field preview just here, which stops down the aperture. On this side, you have the flash sync. Here you have the mirror lockup, and the little silver button just there is the lens release. Now, it's the standard Leica reflex mount, but you do need 3 or third cam lenses. So if you're using lenses from roughly, well, really the pre-R3 lenses. So that would be anything dating from maybe the late 70s and before. You won't have the necessary linkage to link through with this camera. So you do need either 3 cam or third cam lenses to work fully with the metering. That's quite important. Looking at the back, we have the exposure compensation there. We have diopter correction just there. We have a shutter blind just there. And we have various controls under this flap here, including the self-timer controls. Looking at the base, it's all fairly standard setup. We have the various tripod mountings. We have the motor drive contacts, and here we have the little switch here. You just slide up to pull the front grip here down, and the battery comes out. All in all, a camera that is definitely worth looking at, as I said earlier, if you want to use the Leica SLR lenses. I would definitely recommend this over the over these cameras. I think it handles a lot better, but do handle one first, just to make sure you're happy with that extra bit of bulk and with that extra bit of weight. If you're buying one of these secondhand, and don't forget they are at least 20 years old now, do be a little bit careful. Only buy something in decent condition. Make sure there are no nasty scratches, make sure there are no nasty dents, and of course always buy from a source where you can return if you're not happy. So it'll give you a chance to check it over thoroughly, put a film through, and just make sure you're 100% happy. I hope it's been useful. If you have any comments, please stick them in the boxes below. I always reply when I can. Otherwise, please subscribe and like, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.